Hello friends, welcome back to my YouTube channel Journey with Vijay Kumar Shrivastav. In this presentation we are going to study the nitrogenous fertilizer in agricultural use. So let's proceed to the presentation. Generally nitrogenous fertilizers are classified in three groups. First one is inorganic nitrogenous fertilizers, second is organic nitrogenous fertilizers, and third one slow or controlled release fertilizers, about which we will study in details. First one is inorganic nitrogenous fertilizers, which contain large amount of nitrogen. And these inorganic nitrogenous fertilizers are again categorized in different groups like nitrate fertilizers, where the nitrogen is available in nitrate form. Second is ammonium fertilizers, where the nitrogen is available in form of ammonium. And third one is ammonium and nitrate fertilizers, where the nitrogen is available to the plants both in ammonium and nitrate forms. Under inorganic nitrogenous fertilizer, first we will study about nitrate fertilizers. These fertilizers contain the nitrogen in the form of nitrate, NO3, and these are readily available and absorbed by plants easily. This nitrate form is highly mobile and prone or susceptible to leaching loss. Under water load condition, there will be leaching loss because of denitrification process, where the nitrate is lost in the form of nitrogen gas. These fertilizers are alkaline in nature in soil as a residual effect. Now to study different nitrate fertilizers. First one is sodium nitrate, which contain 15.6% nitrogen, and these fertilizers are completely water soluble and readily available to the plants. These sodium nitrate fertilizers are susceptible to loss by leaching and denitrification, and these fertilizers are recommended for acid soil application. Next nitrate fertilizer is calcium nitrate, which contain the nitrogen 15.5%, and these fertilizers are also water soluble, and along with nitrogen, calcium application help in maintaining soil pH. Another nitrate fertilizer is potassium nitrate, which contain 13% nitrogen, and along with nitrogen, it is also supplying around 36.4% potassium, and these potassium nitrate fertilizers are recommended for acid soils. Second category of inorganic nitrogenous fertilizers are ammonium fertilizers. These fertilizers contain nitrogen in the form of ammonium, NH4, and these are soluble in water. As absorbed by soil, so these fertilizers are protected from leaching loss and runoff losses. The adsorbed ammonium ions are slowly transformed into nitrate and easily taken up by the plants afterwards. These fertilizers are having acidic residual effect in soil. Under ammonium fertilizers, first fertilizer is ammonium sulphate, which contain 21% of nitrogen and 24% of sulphur content. These fertilizers are soluble and readily available to the plants. In high pH soils, there may be volatilization losses where nitrogen is lost in the atmosphere in the form of ammonia gas. This fertilizer is also available in liquid form, where it contains 8% nitrogen and 9% of sulphur in solution form. Next ammonium form of fertilizer is ammonium chloride, which contain 25% of nitrogen. The entire nitrogen is present in ammonical form, and there is no leaching loss in ammonical form of fertilizers. This fertilizer is recommended for saline and alkaline soils and suitable for low-lying paddy cultivation area. Next ammonium fertilizer is monoammonium phosphate, which contain 16% of nitrogen and 61% of phosphorus. This fertilizer is soluble in nature and readily available to the plants as a source of nitrogen, and this fertilizer is suitable for foliar spray and fertigation. Another ammonium fertilizer is ammonium thiosulfate, which contain 12% of nitrogen and 26% of sulphur, and this fertilizer is readily available source in the form of liquid, and this fertilizer should be placed away from the seed Otherwise, it can inhibit the seed germination if coming in touch with seed. Another ammonium fertilizer is anhydrous ammonia, which contain highest percent of nitrogen, 82%, and this fertilizer is available in liquid form. And this fertilizer is injected in soil as a gas. The precautionary measures should be taken while application of this fertilizer, otherwise it can cause injury, and it should be applied in appropriate condition, otherwise the losses may be high. Next ammonium fertilizer is aqua ammonia or ammonia solution. This is the liquid form of fertilizer which contain 20% of nitrogen, and these fertilizers are susceptible to losses as free ammonium, and these fertilizers are injected in soil. The third type of inorganic nitrogenous fertilizers are ammonium and nitrate fertilizers. These fertilizers having both nitrate and ammonium form of nitrogen. Nitrate form of nitrogen is readily available to the plants, where ammonium form is available after transforming to nitrate by microbial process. These fertilizers are soluble in water and suitable for most of the crops and soil, and these fertilizers are having acidic residual effect after application in soil. Now to study ammonium and nitrate fertilizers. First one is ammonium nitrate, which contain 34% of nitrogen, and this fertilizer is soluble in nature and readily available source of nitrogen. Ammonium nitrate fertilizer is having 50% ammonical form of nitrogen and 50% in nitrate form. There is risk of explosion in this fertilizer, so it should be stored properly with care. Next ammonium and nitrate fertilizer is calcium ammonium nitrate, CAN. This fertilizer contains nitrogen 26%, and these fertilizers are having the neutral in nature, and these fertilizers are recommended for acid soil application. In this fertilizer, there is half content of nitrogen in ammonium form and half is in the form of nitrate. Next ammonium and nitrate fertilizer is ammonium sulphate nitrate. This fertilizer contains 26% of nitrogen, where 3/4 part is in ammonical form and 1/4 nitrogen is in nitrate form. This fertilizer also contains 12.1% of sulphur, and this is readily soluble and quickly available to the plants. This fertilizer can be used as pre-sowing fertilizer application, basal fertilizer application, and also as top dressing. Second type of nitrogenous fertilizers are organic nitrogenous fertilizers. These are also known as amide fertilizers. The fertilizers in amide form are not directly available to the plants. These are immediately converted by soil microbes to ammonical form and nitrate form, then it is available to the plants. Now to study amide form of fertilizers or organic fertilizers of nitrogen. First one is urea, which contain 46% of nitrogen, and these fertilizers are soluble and readily available to the plants. In any dry fertilizer, urea is the having highest content of 46% nitrogen, and urea is susceptible to volatilization losses, where nitrogen is lost in ammonia gas form to the atmosphere. Next organic nitrogen fertilizer is calcium cyanamide, which contain 20.6% of nitrogen, and this fertilizer is also called nitrolime. Third type of nitrogenous fertilizers are slow released or controlled release nitrogenous fertilizers. In this case, the nitrogen is released in soil slowly and it is available to the plants for longer period of time. Slow release fertilizers provide a steady supply of plant nutrients over an extended period of time. Due to the fact real slow release fertilizers are providing a sustainable and continuous nitrogen supply for up to 4 months even in uncertain weather conditions. Now to study slow released or controlled release nitrogenous fertilizers. First one is sulfur coated urea, which contains nitrogen 36 to 40%, and this is one of the form of slow releasing fertilizers. In this case, the urea is coated with elemental sulfur, and after breakdown of sulfur, nitrogen is released and it is available to the plant slowly and for the longer period. Second one is polymer coated urea. These urea fertilizers are variable content of nitrogen in different products, and these are also slow release of nitrogen fertilizers, and these fertilizers are more expensive compared to other form of slow release fertilizers. Next slow release nitrogenous fertilizer is neem coated urea, where the urea is coated with neem tree seed oil, and neem also serves as a natural insecticide. Neem coated urea is a fertilizer and an agriculture scheme initiated by the Government of India to curb the black market and hoarding of urea. In January 2015, the urea manufacturers were mandated by the government to increase their production from 35% to 75% of their subsidized amount of neem coated urea. Neem coated urea dissolves slower, unlike normal urea, which prevents leaching losses. Neem coated urea leads to more gradual release of urea, helping plants to gain more nutrients and resulting in higher yields. And there will be low leaching losses of urea also. Next slow releasing fertilizer is NutriCoat, which is the coating of nitrate compound with a special resin. The duration of nutrient release controlled by the porosity of the resin coating. More porous coating will result quicker release of nitrogen. This NutriCoat fertilizers contain nitrogen, phosphorus and potash in the ratio of 14%, and it may vary to 20%, 7% and 10% ratio. After moisture absorption, NutriCoat dissolve and nutrient elements will be released through pores. Other slow release nitrogenous fertilizers are IBDU, isobutylidine diurea, which contain nitrogen up to 30%, and the next one is urea formaldehyde, which contain nitrogen 38%. Oxamides fertilizers are another slow releasing nitrogen fertilizers, where the diamide of oxalic acid contains 31.8% of nitrogen, and these fertilizers are slightly water soluble and chemically and physiologically neutral in nature. Other slow release fertilizers are crotonilidine diurea CDU, which is the mixture of urea and acetaldehyde, which contains 32% of nitrogen. Another one is guanyl urea GU, which contains 37% of nitrogen, and there is N-lignin, which is ammonified lignin, contain 18% of nitrogen. So these are slow releasing nitrogen fertilizers. So this presentation was all about nitrogenous fertilizers in agriculture use. Hope this will be useful to all of you. Thank you very much. I have given here my YouTube channel details, Journey with Vijay Kumar Shrivastav. Having request, please visit the channel, subscribe it and provide your kind and valuable feedback. Thank you.